Joining me from London is the Finance Minister, Sammy Wilson. Sammy Wilson, where would you like to see this money spent?
Well, I think that first of all, we have put the development of the economy at the top of our priorities. So any infrastructure which helps us to achieve that end will be important. And also, of course, the likes of health and education have huge savings delivery plans to see through, and investment is going to be required to see some of that through. And I'd like to see some of the money going there. But it will be up to the executive at the end of the day to decide how we're going to redistribute this £50 million per year, plus of course the money that we have which will be unspent on the A5.
Now, the national government is also exploring the idea of regional pay for the public sector. Would you consider that as Minister for Finance here?
Well, I think that the whole idea of regional pay is fraught with difficulties because, trade unions, I think, need to be very careful that they have not brought this about partly. They've asked for separate arrangements for welfare benefits in Northern Ireland, separate arrangements for pensions in Northern Ireland, and now, of course, the government's going to take that to its logical conclusion and is talking about separate arrangements for pay in places like Northern Ireland. It would give the executive greater flexibility, but of course it would also give the Treasury the opportunity to say, well, since pay levels in Northern Ireland should be lower because it's a less expensive area of the United Kingdom, we will reduce your block grant accordingly, and you'll have to work within that and negotiate wages on that basis.
But does the notion of a regional pay deal, does it appeal to you?
Well, it would give the executive more flexibility, but there are inherent dangers in it, and that is that the Treasury could use it as an excuse for reducing the block grant. So there are pros and cons of this. Currently, of course, we have got some regional flexibility, and 2 years ago, for example, I stopped bonuses to top civil servants in Northern Ireland because I had the ability to do that, and we're the only part of the United Kingdom to have introduced that. But that flexibility also means, of course, that the Treasury can then look at our block grant and say, we may well take money off you.
We're nearly out of time here. Now, the health and education have been ring-fenced today by the Chancellor, but it seems to be at the expense of public workers' pay. The government is robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Yes, and the other anomaly, of course, is that people who are in work might actually find that they get a lower increase than people who are out of work and on benefit. And again, that's going to have a distorting effect on the economy. And I think that the government does need to be very careful that we're not actually giving people an incentive to stay out of work rather than to look for jobs.
Sammy Wilson, thank you.